Hi Leo, this is your general tarot reading for Leo, Sun, Moon and Ascendant, or rising sign for the month of June. And Leo, let's have a quick look at the energies while I'm shuffling the cards and waiting for the right ones to come out just for you. Okay, well here's what we know about the energies. There was a grand big shake-up happening for you as Uranus went into Taurus, into your career sector in May. And it shook things up a little bit as the first card comes out, the Ace of Wands. Yeah, it shook things up a little bit and it ignited your interest and your desire in getting back out there into the public spotlight, getting back out into the arena, being in the place, the Four of Cups, being in the place that Leo should be, out there, being seen, being relevant. People always, when they think of Leo, they say, oh, Leo always wants to stand in the spotlight. That's not always true. Leo always wants to shine. But Leo's not going to stand in a spotlight if they know they're not ready. And it seems you haven't been ready, baby, for a while. But now you are. Now you are, baby. You're ready again. And there'll be moments as the Sun in Gemini and Mercury in Gemini in your 11th house, there'll be moments where you're going back onto the internet to check out what are the latest things happening out there in the world. You know, the Page of Swords came out there, followed by the Three of Swords. I'm going to talk about this in a moment too. You want to find out how much do people earn nowadays doing the shit that I do. You know, how can I be relevant? How can I make sure that I'm choosing a career that gives me confidence and that doesn't hem me in? You know, you don't want to be hemmed in anymore. You're a creative person, Leo, and if you've been met with blocks in your career by people who just don't get your sense of style or creativity, then you've just got to work that little bit harder now to have confidence, because you're not lacking style, you're certainly not lacking creativity. What you've been lacking is self-belief, that when you stand out there in your limelight, in your golden light, that you are the best thing that people have seen in years. So you're, like I said, you're going to be communicating this. Fame is a big issue this month. Large groups of people, teams, networks, on the internet. You want to really find out. Oh, there's a few cards. Two fell on the floor. Hold on there. The Fool. You don't want to feel like a fool as you step out into this limelight again. So there's moments, we said before, where you feel you have to brush up your skills a little bit. Maybe get your resume together in a way that's now 2018 and not a resume of a bunch of years ago where it used to be a fashion to do your resume that way, you know. Moving on with your career this month might also really involve talking to the right people, communicating your ideas to people. The Knight of Cups came out there, and then the Star, the Sun and Mercury in the 11th house, represented by this card. You've great big hopes and dreams, Leo, and you are ready in June, ready to start making them come true. And I love that. I love it. And there's no better person than a Leo to do it. You remember last month we said you're going in for the kill. You're going to start seeing the results of this month, you know. You're going to start seeing big risks paying off. You took chances. You went headlong into the future and took a risk. And now you're going to be paid off in June, my love. You're going to get the reward. You're going to get the medal. I like it. Okay, so a few cards. Another one fell on the floor. Hold on, Leo. Strength, a Leo card. Yeah, I know. You're going to have to be strong as you're pushing towards your fame and success. But, I mean, if Leo can't be strong, then nobody can be strong. Nobody. Queen of Swords came out there beside the Queen of Wands. The Two of Cups came out there. The Eight of Swords, and then followed by the Nine of Pentacles. So there's something else I want to talk about here too, Leo, and it seems to be coming out in the cards, so we have to actually talk about it. Some of you recognize and realize that in order to get to the position that you need to be in your career to get the fame and recognition that you need, you're going to have to put a huge amount of energy into it. And that energy is probably going to be coming, you're going to need so much of it that you're going to take some of the energy out of relationships and love in order to push it into your dreams, desires for the future, and into getting that damn promotion and getting yourself relevant again. And this might come as a big problem for those of you who are in a relationship, because your significant other, your lover, will not like that the Leo sun is being taken off them. The warmth and the heat and the energy and the desire and passion that you bring just by simply standing somewhere. When you redirect that energy into yourself and your future and your career, they're going to feel left out in the cold, literally in the cold, because the sun has gone away from them. And they're going to feel the distance, and they are not going to like it. And they are not going to like the fact that you are giving more attention to other people, to friends, to social media, and to your big dreams and desires to the future. And they won't be able to handle it, and things might get a little bit choppy. So I need you to be prepared for that. It doesn't mean that you'll split up. It doesn't always mean can't say stuff like that in a general reading. But it does mean that it will be felt by those of you in a relationship that your partner will be very unhappy about how little of your light they're getting, how little of the sunshine and heat that you bring. They're not getting it anymore. And there also might be a moment with Mars going retrograde in your house of relationships and partnerships that as you move your light and energy away from relationships, there may be a moment where it could trigger intense jealousy from your partner or intense unhappiness from them, where you may start fighting with each other a lot. Hopefully what you'll do through this Gemini season of great communication is to be able to tell them that you need this time to focus on your career and to respect that, and that you promise to return, after all is finished, after you've done what needs to be done. And hopefully they'll understand that. And if they don't, it could become a problem. So this is why communication needs to be really good between you and your partner if you want the relationship to continue, okay? If you don't want a relationship to continue, things could get very, very difficult. Your partner might feel that you've really wronged them. So remember last month we said, keep your integrity, baby, keep your dignity. The other person might feel that you're not being entirely upfront with them. And because they feel left out in the cold, they might feel that you've been shady on them, or you've pulled a fast one on them, or that you don't love them anymore and they just seem to come out of the blue. So to avoid all this shit, you have to be on the same page as your partner and iron out all of these things before they become a problem. But yet, I can't ignore the fact that for some of you, as this very, very, very last and extra card says, some of you really might recognize that your lover might be actually holding you back a little bit. Maybe it's not their fault, it's just the energy in the relationship, but you need freedom, you need to be independent, and you need this space now to get your future shit going and to get your future career moving. And like I said, hopefully they understand this if you talk it through with them. And if they don't understand it, if all they feel is this coldness when you walk away, then maybe it's time to say goodbye. Maybe. And there may be a moment too, Leo, where when you do take away your sunshine from a relationship and you look back you might see that you were the only one putting any warmth into that relationship. You were the only sunshine, positive thing happening there. You were the only one making it happen, bringing the spark in, making it alive, bringing the joy and the humor and the passion and keeping it all together. Leo, you're also very good at keeping things together. And there might be that moment where you realize without your energy, the other person probably isn't contributing a whole lot to the relationship. You may be the only one keeping it together. So that's on the very negative end of the spectrum. On the positive, I'll just go back and say it, on the positive end of the spectrum, you will realize that you have to put a little bit of distance between your work life and home life, and you should communicate this clearly so your partner doesn't feel hurt and offended. And maybe as you move on into the future, in your new career, looking towards the bright lights, you'll have to talk to your partner to see whether they're happy with that change in the dynamic, because work life and home life are very connected, they're interconnected, and you have to ask whether that's something they now want to be part of and iron it out, okay? So that's what's going to be happening there. Mars going retrograde there. Neptune going retrograde in your 8th house. There also might be some power games too. We can't ignore this. Not necessarily always between you and your lover or you and an ex, but between you and maybe people in work, you and authority figures, you and key figures, just you with other people. You might, when you step back, realize that somebody is trying to power trip you or play games. Didn't we say this last month, Leo, that somebody was trying to use your head as a stepping ladder up to the top? And you're going to see through a bunch of bullshit like that this month. And also in your relationship, if there is little subtle manipulations, subtle smoke screens, subtle lies, subtle trying to make it all look a different way when it's something else, you're going to see through that. And you're not going to be fooled by it. And you're not going to be fooled by people who are high drama. This is key. People who are very intense and demand lots from you. And command things, that you do things this way. And you'll say, no, I don't have to bite this. I don't have to do this. And it'll be a moment where you feel that love is becoming quite biting. You know, it's like love bites, but not in that way, in a different way, that your lover could be snapping at you, biting at you, and you have to iron this shit out, okay? So that's the theme, that's the energy, Leo, for this month. But for those of you who might have left a relationship, can you please explain to the other person, even just meet up with them if you don't want to be in a relationship with them anymore, Leo, your dignity, your pride, your integrity, meet them for a cup of coffee or something and say, look, the reason why we split up is because I have things that I need to do in my future, and the reason why I'm putting distance between us, even if it's temporary, is because everything we're saying, don't leave them hanging. It's not fair to them either, okay, Leo? And it's not your style. You're better than that. You're bigger than that. And you know, you're more. You're much more than that. And you always have to maintain that. So Leo, let's look at the cards. The big hand of God is coming out from the skies at the start of the month. Oh, by the way, hopefully by now you are seeing the overview. I forgot to mention that. We did change this up last month, if you missed that. We see the overview here now of the cards. So the hand of God is coming out and giving you new drive and purpose and meaning to your life. You know where you're going in your future. You did recognize at one point recently that you might have to upgrade your skills, become more relevant when it comes to your career, and get damn up to date if it's something you're doing creatively. If you're a musician, if you're an artist, you're a public speaker, anything that you're doing that's quite creative, you're going to have to make that shit relevant. You might have learned a bunch of tricks a few years ago that were wonderful back then, but this is 2018. Get relevant, baby, you know? And you've new energy and drive to make that happen. And a new circle of friends and group of people who seem to be encouraging you to make that happen. And yet here we are, exactly what we spoke about. Your new drive and energy for your career is sitting beside the person who is deeply contemplating how their relationship is going. Do you want to stay in this relationship? Do you want to push through with it? It's not making you happy at the moment. And it's not that I have to keep going back because it's never clear. I wouldn't have the balls to come on and pretend that every single Leo is going through the same thing. That you have to recognize this in your own life, that there are moments in your love life where you recognize that something is making you unhappy in your relationship. And it could be just that you don't want to have to give so much time, energy, and effort to your relationship while you're now moving forward into your future, you know? So there is that moment of pondering, deep thinking, saying, maybe the grass is greener on the other side. Maybe I need to put love on the back burner, you know? The next card that follows this is a card of severity, a card of fighting. So I don't want you to make the mistake, Leo, of having this thought in your mind where you need to push your lover to the back burner a little bit and then believing that the only way to do it is to fight with them. There are better ways. Open communication and explain to them what's going on. And don't kind of rush in first saying, oh, well, if I explain this shit to them, they're going to just attack me, so I better go in and attack them first. It doesn't have to be that way. I know I'm talking about love relationships, and I do know that not all of you are in relationships. This could be partners in work, partners in business, anybody that you have a one-on-one agreement with. So it could be a very, very, very close friend, somebody that you would consider a significant other, even if it's just your kind of best pal. That's who we're talking about here if you don't have a relationship. So, but yeah, you want distance. That's the point of the whole thing. But here we have the Page of Swords. This guy's a beginner. He's just waving his sword around. He's trying it on for size. He's trying to master it, you know, but he doesn't quite have the grace and skill and dexterity yet to make it work, but he's getting there. And this is you too, Leo. As the month begins, you know that you have things to share. Speak your mind, say what needs to be said, and share your ideas with larger groups of people, but do it with a sense of fun, with a sense of frivolity, kind of very playful like him. And don't fear some sort of backlash. Don't fear that if you speak your truth, that somebody will just immediately want to knock you back and knock you down, that there'll be whispers, that they'll say, oh, look at Leo now, Leo, blah, 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 blah. And that's another thing. Don't worry about whispers. If you have that thing where you sense a little bit of rivalry or jealousy going on, or if somebody is trying to into your ear or another's ear, don't fear that. Please don't fear that, because that's not energy that you need to be in now, Leo. You want to move away from gossips in particular. You're not going to get anywhere, my love, if you approach the next part of your career by, I don't know, how would you say it, through the gossips in the office, you know, that kind of a way. So communicate with smart people to get ahead. Communicate with intelligent people to get ahead. Don't depend on the ones that have all the whispers, you know. They might have some truths, but it's not the energy that you need. It's not, because if you get involved with office gossip, you'll become office gossip eventually. So steer away from that. You don't need it. Now, this card, it speaks of this thing that we've been talking about. There is a moment where some of you might be feeling a little bit heartbroken. There might be a situation that you feel something is coming between you and your relationships in general. And it doesn't always have to be another person. It can be, but sometimes it is a thing, like a situation, your work life, your rise to fame, what you want to create and put out into the future. That could be putting the wedge in your love life, everything we've just spoken about. But don't feel sad. I just get the picture here, Leo. Something has happened. Something already, by the time this reading comes out, something already has happened that makes you feel a bit heartbroken and heart weary, tired in your heart, tired of the same old shit. And you want to move away from that. There are things, for those of you in a relationship, there are things that you've already begun to identify that just aren't working. And they're painful, you know? And you'll move past that. You'll move past it. Why? Because, yeah, really, for some of you Leos, you're moving out of a relationship that really broke your heart and really hurt you. And you're moving like the Fool towards your future. You want to embrace your future and take a leap of faith. Some of you might not even yet know where you're going, but you're just ready to dive in. And you're ready to dive in to get over this pain and heartache. Heartache. Your heart is tired. Love hasn't been going your way. You've been putting effort in and the other people aren't giving you what you need in return. I'm not saying the other people aren't good people. That's not what I'm saying. It's just they haven't been giving you what you need and you're tired and you want to jump out and move into your future, taking a leap of faith into finding somebody who does understand you, finding somebody who sees the nobility in you, who sees you as this beautiful cavalier, as the noble one, as the one who gives love generously. That could be another thing. You might have been given your love freely and generously, and you might find that some of the people in your life, your lovers or people around you, might have just been taking all of that and not giving a whole lot back. In terms of the heart, they might have been giving you something else that looked like they loved you. They might have, helped you in some way, but it wasn't the love that you needed. You needed it to be from the heart. You needed it to be true and noble. And all they could give you was a poor imitation. And again, it might not be their fault. It's just that you want somebody who's wired a little bit differently. You want somebody more expressive, freer, more generous with their love. Because that's exactly who you are, Leo. You're free and you're generous with your love. And a partner who allows you space to develop and grow your ideas and your career is somebody who's free and generous with their love. Anybody who tries to block you from doing that is not free and generous with their love. And that could be the weighing scales, the one that gets you seeing which is a real relationship and which isn't. If they give you this space with a full and complete trust and love in you, they're keepers. If they go off the freaking deep end because you're taking your sunshine away from them, they're not keepers. That's the test. That's the litmus test, Leo. Because you are moving into your future. Look at this, the Aquarius card, the energy there, yeah, the sun, Mercury in the 11th house, then the new moon, of course, the new moon on the 13th of June. This is what this shit's about. The new moon is reigniting these dreams for your future on the 13th of June. It's all systems go. You have a vision for your future. You'll be quite tapped in also into premonitions, having flashes of inspiration where you say, I get it. Around the 13th of June, you will have a clear path. You know where you're going. Now, a Leo card, because on the same day, on June 13th, Venus moves into Leo. So June 13th is going to be really important into your first house, your identity. You now want to strongly identify with fame, with getting the big prize, seeing the big picture, running towards your future, taking the rewards. And that's who you want to be now. I adore that, Leo. I love that. You're getting your shine back. You're getting your spotlight back. I've said this to you before. I think we've been really missing Leos. Leos are, you know, when you think of some of the great stars that were Leos, you know, Whitney Houston, she was a Leo. And some of these big, bright, shining examples, they capture the spirit of something, and they walk out onto the stage and they are examples of brilliance. And we haven't been seeing a whole lot of that recently. We've seen very clever people, we've seen very this, but we need this Leo shine out there, and you're running with it. You've made a decision on the new moon on the 13th of June that you're coming back. You're making a comeback. You're the comeback kid. And I'm excited for that. Because I love Leo when they shine. I freaking love them. I'm your biggest fan, Leo, when you shine. I'll be in the front seat in the audience like, that will be me. If you see the weirdo in the front like, me. And I'll be going, go Leo, go, go, go. Now, here we have the Queen of Swords, okay. You've been hurt. There has been gossip. There have been people just surrounding you with negative, okay? And the point of June is that you're freeing yourself from them. And you're saying, I'm not going to repeat this shit again. I am going to be strong with this. I'm going to cut through all the bullshit here. I mean, this is a woman who really is, she's not willing to put up with anything. She's tough and she's cold, and the world has made her cold and tough. And the world has made her hard. And the world has given her a crown to wear, to be the embodiment of tough, hard, sometimes even cruel. And she rules over this. But what we have beside it is the Queen of Wands. And for me, Leo, I interpret this as you looking towards being more Leo, a fire, moving from the coldness. Sure, you had your crown, but it was you were ruling over a cold, barren place. Leos don't rule over cold, barren places. Leos need fun, enjoyment, pleasure. They don't want to be the king or the queen of coldness. They want to be the king and queen of warmth, humor, liveliness, joking, being out there and being on fire. She's gold. She's cold, but she's gold. And that's what you're now moving towards the end of the month. You're getting it. You're getting it. You're getting it. She has a sunflower in her hand. The sunflower which always turns its face towards the sun. That's you. The penny will drop. It'll be like, I haven't been given my energy to following the direction of my ruler, the sun. The sun always wanted to shine on me. It's just I've turned my back on it. It's time to get back out there. This is a psychic card. A double thing will happen here, Leo, too. You're going to be very in tune psychically, very in touch with extrasensory perception. And you'll use that perception now to navigate through your future, where you need to be going. And where are you going? Look, the knight went off on a journey. Your heart was broken. You took a leap of faith. Mid-June, on the 13th, you realize that your future is out there waiting for you. If you focus on yourself and give energy to yourself, and after going on this journey, you come to the point where you meet somebody who really understands you and gets you. That's what this month is really key for you too. It's about looking at all relationships and asking the question, do you get me or don't you? Are you with me or aren't you? Which is it? Decide now, because I'm not playing any more of these games. I've shit to do in my life. I've put too much energy into bad relationships. If you're with me, be with me. If you're not, go find somebody else to play with. Because from now on, I only want the real deal. And this isn't just the real deal. This is soulmate energy. You're on a mission to get your soulmate. And Leo, it's possible. And it doesn't all, for all of you, mean chucking out your old love and bringing in someone new. It means allowing love in general to be seen and to be given freely and received freely. This is you also getting back in touch with yourself. That's what this card means. And of course you will, when you realize that you've got your fiery magnetism back. You'll get back in touch with yourself, and you will not be able to tolerate any relationships anymore that aren't seeing you. They don't get you. Only soulmate energy from now on. Otherwise you're wasting your time, Leo. And it is possible. A soulmate is possible for you. And you may really feel that soul connection with somebody towards the end of June. And I'm glad, Leo. I'm glad. Because it's this love, because your heart, Leo, it's this love that gives you the space to roam free. You felt like a lion in a cage, and people have been coming and throwing peanuts at you, like your career, they've been paying you peanuts. And now you're saying, fuck this, unlock the door and let me out so I can roam free and be majestic up there on the top of the crest of a hill, looking out over the golden sunset and looking down and saying, I am the owner of all of this shit. I own it. And having somebody by your side, your lion or your lioness by your side, loving you completely. And not just loving you, but recognizing the power in you, the lion or lioness in you, who needs to be king or queen of the frickin' jungle. They need to recognize it. They really do. And once you break free of the zoo, being trapped in a cage, then it'll all become clearer. Letting go of self-imposed prisons too. Self-imposed prisons come when you kind of get that aha moment at the end of the month where you say, I've been also responsible for keeping myself in the dark. I've sidestepped away from the spotlight when it was coming towards me because I didn't feel comfortable enough. Maybe I felt too old, too tired, too irrelevant. No, brush yourself down now, Leo, and get out there. They still want you. You're still relevant. And when you shine, and when you take yourself out of this small corner, you'll light it up. You'll be magnificent. An extra card came out there. This is the 9 of Pentacles, the card of being on your own and independent and making money. He is standing in a garden, head to toe in gold. Gold means the ultimate transformation, and red meaning passion, desire. And I mean fire, passion and desire. We open with that card. You turn into fire, passion and desire. And this is you feeling free, free, free. Liberated, independent, making money, doing your own thing. Yeah, let's not forget that some of you want to make money by being independent, an independent trader, an independent worker, working alone. And you're going to get there, Leo. You're going to get it. You're going to get that wonderful independence and feeling like you've grown a lot because of everything that's just happened. And appreciating it when you look back. And hopefully for those of you who are in a relationship that is worth keeping, that you will be given this freedom, with this love. You'll be given the freedom to stand out and shine independently, without worrying, without a care in the world, you know? Just being your brilliant, beautiful, golden self. Leo, I'm going to leave it at that. I know it's a little bit complicated with the love energy that's happening, but you can do it. You can do it. It's not a big mess. It's something you're well able for. And it's also something that will act like a springboard to elevate you further, to push you on more. And you know what? For some of you, you might be very surprised by your partner, that you thought they were supporting you well. Have the conversation with them and they may say, look, I'm 100% behind you. Go for it. I'll give you whatever you need. And you might be shocked at that. They might pleasantly surprise you. And Leo, I'm going to leave it, like I said, at that. And don't forget, keep your Leo pride and your dignity and stay shining like we always want you to be, Leo. And if this is the first time watching my reading, then please join me on Facebook, She-Bear Tarot, Instagram, Twitter too, and subscribe here so that you can come back next month and see how this unfolds from month to month. Because it is a little story. We do move through the months building things and we unfold the story as we come here every month. So until then, Leo, don't forget that I love you. Don't forget that I want to be the first one in the audience sitting back and going, I know them there, Leo, go, Leo, go. I want to see you shine because, like I said, I love you. And I'm going to give you a big kiss for luck from your biggest fan. Leo, I love you so much. Mwah. See you next month. Bye.